Hello, everyone, and welcome to the NBA Top Shot Weekly Tip-Off Show, brought to you by OTMNFT.com. My name is TJ Lasik. I'm one of the co-founders here at Own the Moment, and this is episode 29 of the podcast. This is the show where we give you all the news and information you need to kick off your week in NBA Top Shot. As always, I am joined by my co-founder. This is the man that has been living it up in Miami all weekend long, coming to you live from his car, which is a new one. Mr. Justin Herzig. Justin, the Underdog man himself, how are you doing on this Monday evening?
It's going well. We are braving the elements. If the sunset behind me gets in the way, my apologies. If the sound's not that great, if the connection's not the best, we're just going to work with what we got.
Yes, hey, we got to do what we got to do. Justin may be in and out a bit, technically speaking. The sound seemed okay when we were testing it before the show, but his video may go in and out. But that's okay. And we also are coming to you guys a little bit earlier tonight because Justin has some things going on later this evening. But we are super excited to have our special guest with us today. We have a man who has been grinding his morning marketplace show over on the Team Hold NBA Top Shot channel. So notice that you guys did a little rebranding there over the weekend. The man who is a loyal PJ Washington fan, and I'm already seeing it in the chat, but he's desperately looking for a coffee sponsor. So if anyone out there has a coffee company or would like to sponsor this man's morning shows, we have Mike Zakarian. Mike, how we doing?
Great. Thank you guys for having me on. First of all, I'm cutting up this little intro right here, and that is going to be like my intro for every show from here on out. It was like the right level of energy. It was positive. Someone else building me up instead of myself. It was fantastic.
Yeah, no, pumped to have you on. For those that didn't see, I went on with Mike. What was it, Tuesday morning last week? It feels like it was like a month ago, but it was less than a week ago. So chatted it up with Mike. He does a great job every morning on his show. Runs through the NBA games from the nights before. I think it's a great mix of information, entertainment. I always keep up on it every day. So shout out to you, Mike. And you're grinded, man, every single day.
Dude, I talk about biting off more than you can chew, like right off the bat. It's like, oh, you know how to make yourself different? Let's just do it every day. And so from that aspect, it's good. But I mean, I like today had to be a 7 a.m. show, and that I don't know why I would ever agree to do that. So, yeah, but no, it's been so much fun, and it helps justify like the amount of basketball I'm consuming. So, whatever makes it okay, you know.
And it's not only just every morning, but it's like live every day. So it's not even like, okay, so I've got this thing, so maybe I'll record late the night before and we can post it the next day. Like, it's being there, engaged with the audience, and you've got like a strong following. Like, I don't know what I'm curious. Are the majority of these people like, is it while they're working? Is it while they're just kind of like eating their cereal? They put you on? Like, what's the kind of modus operandi of most of these kind of viewers?
You know, that's been the coolest aspect of the whole thing is I really expected this to be something that I recorded with, or I was live for like 10 people and that people would watch it throughout the day on replay. That's kind of what I assumed it would be. And then what I found is that people are almost using it as like morning sports radio almost. They're like, oh, this is how I'm going to catch up on basketball from the night before. Because there was one day that I switched it up. I was like, I'm not going to go over box scores. Essentially, I wanted to talk more strategy, and people were like, hey, this is really good, but like, also I need to know what happened in the games last night. So it's been a lot of that, but also like the international crowd has been wild. Like there's, we've got some, like an Aussie contingency. We've got some in the Philippines, a lot of UK fans. So it's been pretty cool. It's been pretty cool.
I love that because I mean, yeah, without a doubt, like the majority of the shows, at least North America based, they're at the 7 to 10 o'clock time period, and unfortunately, that kind of removes the Europe and a lot of the Asia, Australia area from getting to watch these. So fantastic they get kind of that access to yours, and then without a doubt, I mean, I think it'll be great when it's a little less effort even than it is now to pull up and watch it YouTube, because if you close it down or whatever, but like if you can just be in your car and just like hit one button and it's there for you.
I know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been super rewarding. And TJ and I have talked about this like quite a bit too. The positive energy from this community has been so cool and definitely not something I expect, both like from a DFS background and a comedy background. I'm not used to just a group of strangers being like, yeah, this dude's awesome. So it's been really cool to see the positive vibes.
Which one of those roles, like which community gives you more shit, the DFS or like the comedian group? Like, I mean, the fans of them, the hecklers, and what side?
Yeah, it's definitely comedy. I think it's comedy because I can't avoid that. Where in the DFS side of things, like you can just kind of mute, right? Like you can mute a channel, you can like disable comments. There's ways to get out of it. Comedy, you're staring at it. You're staring at it. You have to make eye contact. Although it's led to what I've learned, my experience doing that has allowed me to have a lot of fun with the chat because I'm sure you guys see it every time you go live. If you go live for more than 30 minutes, somebody comes in and is like, oh, wow, we're doing NFTs. Really, guys? Like, that's what we're doing? And it's like, dude, you went out of your way to watch this. It's 30 minutes in, then the comment. Like, what are we doing? But it's been fun. It's been fun.
Oh, love it. Yeah, I can see you've got some Mike fans in the chat here. So good stuff there. All right, we've got a great show planned for this evening, but we do want to start off with a big announcement here from the OTM team that maybe you guys saw on Twitter. But we would love to announce our partnership with Underdog Fantasy. So shout out to the team over at Underdog. For those of you that don't know it, definitely go and check them out. Very kind of innovative take on fantasy sports. I would say it's a little bit of a mix between season-long fantasy sports and daily fantasy sports, where you can do weekly drafts, nightly drafts in NBA, season-long drafts when it comes to NFL, as they call best ball, and they're running a promotion for draft weekend here that expires tomorrow. So deposit with promo code OTM. We're making a joke with our friends over at Club Top Shot. You know, why use a 4-letter code in Pete or Jack when you can use simply 3 in OTM? So use that code between now and tomorrow, make a deposit, and you will get $25, and that is enough to get you into their Best Ball Mania tournament, where you have a chance to win $1 million. He didn't quite win $1 million, but our very own Justin Herzig is the defending champ of the Underdog Championship. So, Justin, why don't you speak to the people a little bit about Underdog and why you are pumped to have this partnership with them?
Yeah, and they've been giving me crap. So for those who don't know, like the reason why I'm in the car right now is because the Underdog-a-Palooza, which is their big kickoff to the summer for best ball, has been taking place in the building right over here, where they've had run-through guests of Adam Schefter, Matt Berry, a lot of other names that are far more prestigious than when I was on the show. And it was just fun, kind of just doing some best ball drafts. And obviously they were giving me a lot of crap for my prize last year getting first is less than second place this year. So I apparently peaked too early. Should have won the first prize this year, which is $1,001, but there's still a chance. So we'll see. But overall, I just absolutely love the team behind it. I love the app. I personally call it the toilet app. And I mean that with love, because it's not a description of the app, but I think the majority of people who use it are basically on the toilet, because that's how easy the daily fantasy side of it is. It's not like the DraftKings FanDuel, where you're going against people who are using algorithms and all these hardcore projections and stuff. This is more of just like, hey, your draft might take a couple minutes. You just pick a couple guys. Obviously, it's best ball. It's a little longer, and you're predicting for the whole seaseason. And then there's the pick'em stuff, where it's just, hey, you pick a couple players, and you think if they're going to do worse or better than that, and you're going to get parlays there. But overall, it's one of those things where, it's just a very fun, great team. I have personally been obviously very profitable on it. And I think for the most part, anyone who takes a strategic mindset to it should be able to be profitable as well. Because I think the majority of the clientele who are doing it more for the entertainment aspect, rather than actually, spending spend those extra 10, 15 minutes doing some prep. Take a look at what Bachman posted in the, Discord on some strategy aspects for the NBA best ball, to make sure that you're really you're getting that edge. And that's kind of why we love the Underdog team, and we'll continue to keep a strong partnership with them.
Yep, and as you can see on the screen here, and maybe you saw on Twitter, but we are going to be on courtesy of the Underdog team doing a LeBron giveaway for anyone that retweets the tweet, signs up with the OTM promo code, and reply with that screenshot. So shout out to Underdog, and we're looking forward to this partnership.
And if you used OTM code before we put this up, all you then need to do is retweet, and you're good. But we want to make sure that, it was anyone who used the OTM code. So as long as you previously did it, now just go ahead and retweet it, and we'll include you in the giveaway for that LeBron/15K, which I think is around $500 right now.
Awesome. All righty, let's dive into the show here. So I think there's a lot to cover actually this week. I mean, definitely wanted to start off with the fact that things are trending in the right direction for what feels like the first time in a long time, and trending consistently in the right direction. I would say for the past week or so, account valuations heading in the green. Can see a screenshot here of some of the sets that are upwards of 20-30% over the last 7 days. We also had the big news on the trading tickets, and we of course had the Hustle and Show pack drop today. So I mean, I guess Mike, I'll just get your take first on kind of the state of the market and how things are trending here. Also, yeah. Justin, when you're not talking, could you maybe go on mute? Because I think we're getting some feedback from your line.
Yeah, I can try that.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's been cool to see it going up. I'd been, monitoring Series 1 more so than anything else, and trying to nail the floor and figure out when we were going to start to trend up. And I want to shout out Sawyer, who's someone in the Team Hold community, but was scouting Julius Randle's moment for the longest time. And he was the one that kind of pegged it. And we started watching that one go back up. So we're seeing, I don't know, light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe I think now I'm just enjoying the ride without bringing the hope and excitement behind it. Now I'm just we're trending in the right direction, but I'm not going to lose my damn mind. I'm not going to hit tambourines or anything. I'm just going to be this is great. I'm still not going to refresh my account valuation regularly. I think I'm past it now. We're just going to enjoy it. But yeah, it's been nice seeing especially the Series 1, because I was starting to get a little nervous as that took a full-on bath for a couple weeks, and I was like, ooh, I put a lot of my words on that. So it's nice to see that turn around a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. And Justin, I don't know if you have any thoughts on this front as well, but I'm with you, Mike. The days of feverishly checking the account valuation, I feel like I just became numb to that recently, and completely agree. Just kind of along for the ride now. Yeah. For better or for worse, I assume that we're going to see plenty of both ups and downs over the coming weeks, months, years, and we can't get spoiled by the 2-week period where things were just rocketing, and now I think we have a more realistic outlook in general.
Yeah.
And I think overall what I'm most excited for is what we've touched on is now we can get to the value that Mike brings. Now we can get to that aspect where hey, some players, their values actually will increase and some probably will decrease. And maybe it's actually their performance on the court that'll justify that, and they'll actually impact that. Now we get to a place where it's not just hey, we saw the crazy bull market, we saw the gradual bear market. Now we've been a bit more stagnant with a little optimism around some stuff. The S1s across the board were pretty much up anywhere between 15 and 50% over the past week, which is fantastic to see. And then I think elsewhere, it's kind of now we're getting to that kind of hey, use the content, use the strategy, use the discussions that you get to make, to improve your strategy in this opportunity. And still want to go back to and say all throughout, people always in February, March, and April were saying, I wish I got in January. I wish I got at those prices. We are still very close to those prices, and now we're actually seeing some positive momentum. So I'm not telling you that it's going to only go up or that it's going to go, that it's not going to go down anymore. But if you were waiting for that time period where you say, I'm just waiting for it to stop going down, these are some strong signs that we may have. I think we can honestly say we've broken through that just gradual decline. It still may go down going forward, but as of now, it's no longer just that clear decline. We've reached a bit of a first plateau and now incline, and we'll see where we go from here.
Yeah, you bring up a great point too, because one of the reasons I wanted to start doing that morning show is I was like, I'm so curious how the performance from the night before was going to impact the market, assuming that it was going to be super reactionary. And truly, up until this week or maybe last week, whenever Kevin Porter Jr. put up 50, that was the first time I saw an immediate spike on someone's performance. Then you saw it with Tatum after he dropped 60, and I was like, okay, maybe we're getting there now. We're getting there where people are oh wow, I saw I saw a few more of his highlights. Someone had a sick dunk, so now we're gonna see some movement on it. So I hope that's the case. That would it would make my time worth it, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the way it should be, right? Like based on player performance, based on what's actually happening in the NBA. We'd seen glimpses of it throughout the season, like, around the All-Star game was one example. I know that we saw a direct impact on the market when whether people were announced as All-Stars reserves or not announced as All-Star reserves. But I think it would be really cool if it's just based on performance. And then that way you can kind of, you get closer to that player stock market kind of vibe where it's like, hey, if I'm bullish on this person as a basketball player, then their top shot momentum should reflect them as a player and whether or not they're improving, gaining in popularity.
Right. And then I feel more comfortable like taking an L on something when it was like, oh, I was just wrong on this player. Like this, I thought this player was going to pop and he's not popping and I'm just wrong. And that feels for me, just like as a collector, as someone investing, like that feels, I'm okay being wrong when I can like see why I'm wrong versus just being like, I don't get it.
Yeah, right. Like I bought this guy's moment. He's been playing great basketball for 2 weeks and his price is going down. Like that doesn't make sense.
Right. Right.
It becomes a more true reflection. And I mean, so I think this leads to the second piece that I'm sure has something to do with what we've seen in the market as well, is this concept of the trading tickets that the Dapper team introduced to us on Friday. So this was something that we were waiting for all week. We knew that they were going to announce their distribution plan for the Series 1 moments. And so for people that maybe aren't familiar, what this is that there's still a large group of moments from Series 1 that were never actually distributed and are sitting in the Top Shot account. The reason for this is, I don't need to get too far into it, but basically it was if a player had a moment minted and then their next moment or their next series was minted before all of the Series 1s were distributed, those never got released into packs. They have since been held by the Top Shot team. It's actually something that you can see on the OTM website. So if you check out pretty much any of the out of 1,000 moments, like I know the Kawhi Leonard is one example, and I can pull it up here just so people are familiar with what we are talking about. So here we go. We have an example right here. We have the Kawhi Leonard Series 1, and you can see only 24% of them are owned right now. Only 3% are in packs. And then you have 72% that are held by the Top Shot team. And so these new trading tickets is going to be the Top Shots team's method of getting these back into the marketplace. And essentially what it becomes is that you will have the ability to trade in any moment. So each moment basically can be exchanged directly for a ticket. You will then be able to exchange those tickets or put up those tickets to get into some sort of queue to then be eligible to receive some sort of special pack. That's pretty much all the details we have at the moment. We don't know how many trade tickets are going to be required, but what this really did was raise the floor across the board, right? Because now a $5 moment is not just a $5 moment. It also has the utility of being able to be used as a trading ticket. So want to kick it to you guys and see your thoughts on this, your thoughts on the short-term impact that it may have had on the market and the longer-term view as well. Justin, we can kick to you first.
Yeah, so let's take it from a macro and a micro view. Starting with the macro, I think the most important thing here is that this shows that Dapper Labs is valuing scarcity and is valuing that they're, the way they're going to release these moments is they're adding value to them. There were concerns that maybe these are going to be released just by people who play the hardcore game and get to a certain level. Maybe these would be released by a showcase challenge or a drop or in normal common packs or whatever. And if that's the case, if we're making it easy to get these and not actually costing anything, then when they hit the market, they're likely going to be sold at a lower amount, and it's just going to kind of lead to a negative snowball effect with those S1s. So I think from a macro, it's good to know that, hey, in this instance and more in general, Dapper is prioritizing ensuring that there's, value of scarcity, value in how these kind of previous moments are being released. And because Dapper Labs has such a high, the Top Shot account has so many of these moments, there's more that, we understand their future decisions, whether it's the ones that are going to be the Genesis, the Platinum, the 1 out of 1, the 1 out of 3, like we know that they're going to continue to preserve the market. So that's a good thing. from a micro stance, I still think that when these hit the market, those /1000s, I don't really want to own, because when we take it as there's still just somewhere between like a 20 and 80% of supply, depending on the /1000. And anytime that level of supply is still pumped in the market, it's going to bring down the prices just because you've got a flush of new people that are going to want to sell. Not everyone, but there's going to be a certain amount of the ones that want to sell. What do? They undercut, they put it low, and that price goes down. So overall, I'm still not in the business of one of these S1000s. So that's the first. From the floor of the 35Ks, yep, I understand that people were buying up. I think there's probably a stance that, and unfortunately, it's going to be favoring a lot of the bots who were just buying a whole bunch of these $1, $2 moments. And, anytime it hits a floor and now they've got them. It is what it is. I don't love that aspect, but I personally am not going to say I'm going to go buy the floor, because we've also heard that they're going to release these between pretty much a couple months in 2022, which also means that Series 3 is going to come into play. And Series 3 moments may be out of 50K, maybe out of 100K. At the least, we know they're going to be 35K, and it's another series down the road. Those moments will be cheaper than whatever these 35K are. So if you're collecting these 35K in hopes of getting all these moments tickets, it may come to fruition during the off season and give you a short-term kind of value. But I think the majority of these are going to be released during Season 3 or Series 3, and there's going to be cheaper moments out there. So the ones collecting now, I think, are kind of playing a fool's gambit.
Yeah, I think that's pretty sharp, right? I think we're seeing like a temporary rise in the floor in those moments where that, especially because this is happening so far down the road. Like you're going to see the floor come back down to $4 or $5. I think just with how many more moments they're planning on unloading. And I know there's a lot of chatter on our Discord, and I'm sure everywhere, where everyone is trying to scoop these $5 moments because they're going to be 7 soon. And I think like I'm not the one to be like that's not the way to do it. Like there's plenty of different ways to collect. But if you are doing that, I hope you're scooping moments of like guys you like. Like I know Dustin, who's one of the hosts, like he's like, I picked up a Caruso and a THT because I'm a Lakers fan, and I scooped a couple of those. Like, sure, those are guys you like. Those are guys you want to own. But I think if you're just like blindly anything that's $5 scooping now, I mean, you might not lose money. It might just come back down to 5, but then you're just kind of holding a bunch of stuff that you're not super excited about when you could get it later. So it all depends. But yeah, I was of that mindset too, where my initial reaction was like, well, I gotta get out there and get some stuff. And then after like 2 failed purchases, I was like, okay, hold on. Anytime I've reacted immediately after getting news, I've been wrong. So let's not overpay for a cool cat. Let's hang out for a second and see what happens. So I'm with you. I mean, I'm excited that they're introducing excited they're introducing this ticket thing, only because, I think it's important that they're still, testing things out and trying to be innovative with how the system works, that we're not like locked into this is how we do it forever, right? Because they're just going to continue to grow and evolve at a fast rate. So, and if this, they roll this out for Series 1 and it doesn't work out the way that they wanted to, it's not like you got to do trading tickets from here on out. But then if it is successful, you now have this tool to use it for further things. I don't know what that would be, but for further things. So yeah, I'm overall pro on it.
Yeah. And I mean, it introduces the idea that right now they're doing recycling, but maybe they do burn in the future. And obviously there's opportunities there with the challenge aspect or other pack releases and such, but 100% agree. Innovation is probably one of like the key focus areas and kind of mantras for Dapper Labs from what we've seen, all the way up from the top with Roham and some of the tweets we've mentioned in the past of the drones QR code, or the way that they're talking about merch and stuff. Like, innovation is at the forefront, and agree with you 100%. Great to see this as just another innovative step in the right direction.
Totally.
Yeah, the creativity of the idea is awesome for sure. I mean, like, it's definitely outside the box thinking, and I think it'll just help with the floor no matter what. But I agree with your take, Justin, and something that I talked about in the weekly recap pod, the solo pod that I did on Friday, is the idea of that, this is a plan that they laid out to execute by November 2022. It's literally more of like a 12 to 18 month plan than anything else. So like Mike said, gut reacting and scooping a bunch of moments that you're not actually passionate about or don't actually have any kind of personal affinity for, I think is not the smartest thing. And like,
Yeah.
I know, I also like, I did some floor scooping back in the crazy days. And then one of the, the parts you don't think about there is just like trying to offload them after the fact is not easy. And like, I'm too lazy to just be like selling all these $6, like it's a lot of work. Justin knows. Justin had 80 Dwight Howards that were included in the Cool Cats Challenge and had to, it's basically a full-time job trying to get rid of 80 of anything.
Yeah, that's an intern. You need an intern at that point for 80 Dwight Howards. That's too many.
But having said that, so that's my like take against the buy in bulk. But I do think like we get the question a lot of, hey, I don't have thousands and thousands of dollars to put in this. I have a small bankroll. I think, finding little opportunities like this of like, hey, I'm going to buy, $5 moments and try to flip them all for $8. And that's how I'm like slowly building up a bankroll. I think that's a perfect use case for this kind of thing. And also similar to something that I've been saying about the challenges of look for those opportunities where there's kind of short-term volatility and take advantage of those. It's difficult to do it in bulk and overwhelming to do it in bulk. But for small players, I think it's legit.
Sorry. One other fun thing that was happening in our Discord with this too is that they were I think it's in our challenges Discord, which should really be renamed as like tinfoil Discord, because there's just like wild speculation. But what they were doing, they're like, hey, there's a lot of these floor moments that are also game winners, and we think that's going to be a challenge soon. So if I'm scooping any of these floor, I'm scooping the ones that might be in a challenge. And like this is my favorite thing about Top Shot. Like my brain would never go there. Like that's just not where I go, because I'm coming from a basketball sense, and I'm like, I like Julius Randle. I'm getting Julius Randle. Like that's what I do. But I love that whole aspect of it where it's just like it's like there's so many different ways to attack it, and like if they are right, if they nail one with the challenge and they scooped a bunch up at 5 and now are flipping them for 35 or 40, whatever, like hell yeah. But just be prepared to take an L too, and that say that
Al Horford style, right, Justin? Justin bought a bunch of Al Horfords on one of the theories, and he's going to just hold them for life now, I think, unless he gets that intern that we're talking about, Mike.
You win some, you lose some.
Exactly. But hey, the hope is that when you win bigger than you lose. It's like DFS, right?
That's right.
So yeah, I think that just about covers it on the trading tickets, unless you guys have a closing thought on the subject. Good.
Yeah, excited for it.
All right. Well, then let's move on to the news of today, which was the Hustle and Show pack drop. So I don't know about you guys, but I got myself a Hustle and Show pack. So I was 75,000th in line. Did you guys? I know Justin did not get one. Did you get one, Mike?
No, I think I ended up being like 5,000 off. So I love the email notification. I've never been happier about an innovative move by Dapper to include the email notification. I knew I was going to be close, so I'm like, let's fire that in there. I'll check back in 3 hours.
Yeah,
and just miss.
Yeah, so we had 140,000 packs that were distributed. There are 8 Hustle and Show moments as a part of this. Was just checking out. So the marketplace has, I think it's officially fully open now. It says heavy traffic. I think they're on like a 30-minute cooldown right now, but we can see, oh geez, these are, so the undercutting has begun, because when I looked at this before the show, things were between like 25 and 35, and now we can see they're between 12 and 20. But I haven't tried to purchase one. I imagine there's a lot of failed transactions going on. But
a lot of demand for Chris Chiozza,
Yeah, like one of my buddies was like, oh, like I got RJ Hampton, like what a waste. I was like, well, what were you really expecting from these 8 options? Like there's not a ton to love here. No offense to these guys. I mean,
no.
I guess you
can, how fantastic of all the challenge rewards. Let's just use another Giannis. He doesn't have enough moments on the site.
I know. Anybody, just give us anybody. Make Rudy the reward. You don't have to go get Giannis.
I don't think of Giannis as like a hustle guy either. But I mean, like he's an amazing athlete, but like not by their definition of like a hustle scrappy. Like that's what they're known for.
Yeah,
right. Like he's just known for being really good.
Yeah.
I also like. Do you think you need to play at least 12 minutes a game to qualify to be in a pack? Like I played a ton of Chris Chiozza in the bubble last year. I played a ton of them because they had 4 guys that the Nets were playing. How many minutes a game is he playing this year? It's not a lot, right?
No, it's not. I mean, like, rookies are an exception, obviously. You grow into it. But,
Right.
hey, you know, you got to think about it this way as well. They are, not negotiating is probably the wrong word, but they're working with the NBA Players Association when they create these moments. And that includes players who aren't always the starters. And
Very
so not a horrible idea to throw them a little bone and say, like, hey, let's get some of these other guys some moments as well.
That's true. That's the more political answer, Justin. That's a good answer.
Yep. So here is what you guys are referring to. We have the Hustle and Show challenge with Giannis as the reward.
I was pretty intrigued today that because I honestly wasn't super locked in today during the drop, but that it said drop 1 or of 1 or like with the illusion that or alluding to the fact that we're going to see quite a few more drops. It seemed like on the Hustle and Show.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that. Well, so this is the common set that they basically said is coming after Cool Cats, right? So maybe it will be similar to the Cool Cats where we see a couple different drops. Yeah, I guess we don't have the confirmation on that, but
just need more.
Also, speaking of Giannis rewards, Justin, do you have something to share with the people regarding a Giannis reward?
I don't know. We were in the waiting room for StreamYard right before we were about to put click, and I got a few different Discord messages all saying, congrats on the fired moment, sweet cereal, great job. And freaked out a little and went and saw because the Holo Challenge ended today. And usually they end up minting that like a half hour, 45 minutes afterwards. But because there was such the marketplace down during the drop, it took a while. And out of 43, I believe, I ended up pulling number 3. So pretty happy about that. That's the 10th challenge. 10th challenge I've completed. First time I've gotten a top 10% cereal.
Nice. That's a good pull.
Yeah. So happy about that.
Yeah, it's a great pull. I think I just saw his 11K low ask. Whew. That's nice.
That's fun.
I could see.
How come you couldn't pull the number 3 in the challenge that I went in on you with? You know, you go do one on your own, and then you pull the number 3. It seems like it doesn't seem
Chris
cool.
Paul. If it was Chris Paul, then I would have saved my 3 for that. But,
yeah. So there we have it. We have the Hustle and Show challenge 1 is underway, and I have a pack. I don't know if we're going to open it tonight or Wednesday, but on one of the 2 streams, we will open my Hustle and Show pack.
That's good. And TJ, I want to give a quick shout out because as part of this, I was kind of wavering on whether or not to complete the Holo Challenge because I did like a few of the players there. I think in general, the Holo, for the people who have the capital, that the Holo moments are undervalued right now from a long-term perspective. But it kind of pushed it over the edge when 2 of the people in our Discord offered to allow me to rent their Holo moments for this challenge. So much appreciated to both of those people who kind of sent over a Tatum and a Chris Paul.
That's the way to do it.
Love that. Just another example of this awesome community. Guys, like the stream. I haven't said that yet. Mike knows all about. Mike, you're very good at getting people to like your stream.
Yeah, well,
I'm not as. I need to get better at it. You got any tips?
Yeah, well, I'm filling an hour by myself, so anytime I
you don't know what to say, you're just like the stream.
I just say like the stream, and I get hostile. I just yell at people. It's honestly it's bad for business, probably.
Like the stream, or I will hit end stream right now.
I can't tell you how many times I've gotten a comment of like, "Hey, can you like the stream?" So he just shuts up about it. It works.
That's a strategy, right?
Wait, someone just gave a thumbs down after I said that. Come on, why are you watching if you're gonna thumbs down? We're 30 minutes in.
Now we got to pass all those haters. Now the one hater needs to be just drowned out by all the other thumbs ups.
We need like at least 20 likes per thumbs down. I mean, that's a bunch of baloney.
I dare the person that said that put the thumbs down to put something in the chat. I'd love to get involved.
I think it was actually producer Coop. So producer Coop gave a thumbs down and get others to give us a thumbs up. Then he'll change his over. Smart.
We got a third thumbs down now. Now we're just getting trolled. Come on, people.
It'll change at the end of the stream.
They'll remove it later. Yeah. All right, so we talked through Hustle and Show. As always, we got to at least touch on the current challenges that are out there right now. So let me go ahead and pull those up because we have Cool Cat 6.
Feels like Cool Cat 60.
Is this for real? Or is this like a interesting? We'll have to check on if that's a real dip in the price there, because that seems rather drastic. But we have the Cool Cat 6 that's going on right now.
TJ,
Yeah.
I can't see it, but I did see that earlier today. Both the challenges, MGLA and Cool Cat, take a strong dip overnight. I'm not quite sure why, but I have problems seeing what's going on in the screen right now. But what does it say?
Yeah, so the low ask is at 129 right now.
Yeah,
and it was at 147.
I think that's right. This morning I saw 130.
I would imagine. I wonder too if people were just getting excited about the potential of like doing another challenge with Hustle and Show, and just were like, oh, okay, I'll get off this to buy that pack.
I don't know. I mean, TJ, we've said from the beginning that we believe that these prices are going to keep going down for the Cool Cat. Oh, also, a lot of the moments for that challenge may have been
in this pack.
In these packs as well. So market floods, same thing we say, like, and that's what we were saying from the beginning, is we believe that these since they're all slash 35Ks, there's no true bottleneck, and more moments would keep going out. Those prices were just going to keep going down.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And to go back to an earlier point, it did not stop me from spending $40 on that Bam out of bio, though.
Bam's a fun player. Like you're going to hold on to that one. That's a keeper.
That's true. That's the one. I felt a lot better about that than purchasing DeAndre Jordan at whatever it was.
Yeah, I mean, these minor Cool Cat ones are. I just can't see them being worth it. I don't know. I mean, I guess this one's different because it doesn't have those 15K bottlenecks like it did the last one. But what I did in Cool Cats 5 was I completed the challenge early on in the time window and then actually sold off all of my moments prior to getting the reward, because TJ McConnell was at $100, and I was like, there's no way that I'm ever getting a better value for a TJ McConnell than this $100. And same with the Jermichael Green. And then my intention was to buy the Fred VanVleet back, but then I failed like 10 transactions and got frustrated and still haven't gone back. But I will eventually get the VanVleet because I'm going for the Master Challenge.
The one thing I'll say, though, about this one in particular, I do think like two things. I think people are speculating that you're going to need to complete a challenge at some point, right, to be eligible to qualify for something. So I think that that's probably why we're seeing so many of them. And I do like that it's all 35K moments, because they were like, if we're hinting that you need to complete one, like let's actually make it a common challenge where you don't have to drop like $350, $400 for a moment that's going to be worth $75, Yeah. So I do like that.
TJ, what is the current count for how many completions for that Cool Cats?
7,088.
Okay. So I remember when we were on the Plunge Father stream, they asked us to put us in the spot. I think I said 10 to 12 when I put the revised challenge analysis at. I think I revised that to like 9 to 11 or something around that. It's probably still gearing towards that. And I think a lot of it is, as Mike said, like, this is the cheapest challenge we've seen. And people are maybe just accepting, I'm going to take a loss of maybe a $20, $30 EV or whatever, but I'm getting a challenge under my belt. And whether it's baller status, whether it's qualifications, whether it's just a cool thing to kind of do, hey, I think that's probably driving a lot of the completions. But as we've said, I still think these prices were going to keep going down. Maybe at the very end they go up a bit, just because there are more buyers than people looking to sell, because people have been selling all throughout. But for the most part, I think it's a downward trajectory with maybe a slight incline at the very end. Call it a check mark.
Yeah, that's right. That sounds about right to me. Also, this is a good time to plug that we added exports to the website. So you guys can see them here. You can download all of the challenge info, and you'll get the full view of all these players' moments, like basically all the circulation data, etc., that comes in the full moments page. You'll also get the moments needed data together there, and you can also download an export of all of the transactions. So that is something that we just kind of under the radar released earlier today. We'll tweet about it or something. I don't know. But for anyone that is looking to do more of your own in-depth analysis, you can now, across pretty much every single page on our site, download a full export and get even more of the data. So there's that.
Nice.
Should we talk about MGLE 25 as well, Justin? Do you have any thoughts on that one? And also, we will, on Wednesday night, we will be doing more of the challenge deep dive, as we always do. We like to give a little bit of a challenge, a little preview, a little taste, wet the whistle a little bit, but then, the spreadsheets will come out in full force on Wednesday, and the Herzig bot will do his thing more officially there.
I mean, one of the challenges, one of the things that we're seeing that makes these kind of the valuations difficult is the liquidity of the market is drawing down prices for a lot of these post-challenge moments. And what I mean by that is, I think you can use the Luka and the Steph as an example for MGLE Series 2. The Steph, and so this was as of this morning, was going for around 2,100. The Luka for around 1,900. Across the site, those two players' moments are almost equal in value. Occasionally, one's higher than the other, vice versa, but no real pattern. But in this case, you have 499 steps and 350 or so of the Luka, and the Luka's $200 cheaper. And the only thing I can say there is there's just more people that completed the challenge, and now they did it just to be able to sell, and that just kept driving down that price. Long term, there's no reason that a more scarce Luka in the same set as the Steph should be significant, should be $200 cheaper or even really cheaper at all. And so long term, I have full confidence that Luka will be more valuable than the Steph. The problem is, will the Luka increase in price over that Steph over time, or will the Steph drag down to where the Luka is? I'm not sure. But across the board, like another example is the most recent MGLE, the one from previous one, going into the final day, going into it, the cheapest prices for MGLE S2s that were already in a challenge were $200. And as soon as that challenge ended, those moments were all selling all the way down to 160. And the players were not great, but they weren't the same quality as the other ones when the floor was 200. So why has the floor dropped 20% other than the people who were doing that challenge were doing it just to be able to sell afterwards, and they're just drawing down the price from liquidity? And unfortunately, that, if anything, brought the entire market down. When I think long-term, it kind of shows that there is still long-term value in buying the moments now. We've already seen when there's not the, market activity of a challenge being placed. When there wasn't the challenge, we saw that the floor of the MGLE was 200. The market of the challenge then brought that down to 160. So I personally believe that long-term, that 200 is more indicative of the true value than what the challenge did to the market. And I think with the Luka Steph, with those, we're continuing to see some kind of trickiness there. And so the current Obi one, I kind of see it right now as a little less than break even, a small loss. But that's also when comping to current market dynamics. If when these happen, they end up dragging the entire market down, that may be something that we need to now start building into these projections, even though it doesn't make sense. If we see enough of the data that kind of the trends towards it, it's something that's just got to be baked in, and it's an unfortunate short-term consequence of these challenges.
It's interesting too, because when I was looking at the Luka one specifically, my assumption were the people going after those Luka moments were probably Luka has crazy upside. So if you're collecting an MGLE that's going to be at a 300, 400, whatever it is, and it's, I don't know, in my mind, I thought most of the people going after it are back pocketing that. I'm keeping this as a long-term hold because the value is only going to go higher on this. And honestly, that almost got me into it because I was talking to somebody else about it, and I was like, I might go after it because when am I going to have a chance to get a Luka that's this low? And I get it a little bit more for what you said for Obi Toppin. That's not really the sexy star you're going for right now. But Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's something to monitor. Like if this is how it's going to be moving forward. But I was stunned by the Luka price.
Right. It just comes down to, without a doubt, Luka is valued a lot better than the Steph right now. What happens long term will dictate what you believe will happen, whether or not it's worth buying Luka, or the inverse. If you had a Steph, does it make sense to sell that Steph at this point? I personally believe that Luka will settle to be worth more, because I think we've seen outside of the challenge that Steph was determined to be worth around the 2,000-2,100. That hasn't changed. What did change is the market dynamics of the challenge. Post-challenge, sell-off, Luka goes down to 1,900, when in reality, according to market, we think long-term it should settle somewhere maybe 25 to 30%, maybe something around that, higher than that stuff.
Wow. Good stuff, gentlemen. I think it's time for the final segment of this evening. Producer Coop, if we could move to the weekly update or weekly pick'em, brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Check out Underdog, guys. You're going to love it. Use promo code OTM, 3 simple letters, 3 simple touches of the keyboard. Over at Underdog, you can do NBA drafts on a nightly basis. You can bet NBA props on, if you think Joel Embiid is going to have a big night and score over 26 points. I don't know if that's his prop for tonight, but there's different bets that you can do. You can draft NBA teams.
Not bets, picks.
Sorry, picks. Picks. You're right. And they have a ton of football stuff too for people that are into football. But check out the Underdog channel in the Own the Moment Discord. Our NBA analyst Bach is giving you all of his thoughts there in terms of how we can approach Underdog from an NBA perspective. And with that, we are going to first take a look at last week's show and take a look at the results. I took Joel Embiid. Justin took Paul George. Producer Coop took Steph Curry. And our guest from last week, John Boy Beats, took Anthony Davis. And I will tell you what, guys, yours truly is the winner. I'm just going to cut right to the chase. I doubled down on my guy, Joel Embiid. And let's see this, right? So here I am. I'm on the OTM NFT website. I'm sorted by base set Series 1. And look at this. Joel Embiid, 40% over the last 7 days. Wow. So shout out to me. We're on the first page here. Mike, I don't know if you saw, but I took Joel Embiid the first time and just took an absolute bath. He was like minus 30%. I was in dead last. And I was like, you know what? I have faith in my guy. I have faith in the Philly sports vibes, the number 2 in the MVP race. And so I doubled down, and look at that. It paid off. And we are now at a total score of myself 1, Justin 1, Producer Coop 0, and the guest 0. So, Mike, you got to get the guests on the board here.
And I feel good. That, TJ. Was a great example of buying the dip. Without a doubt, Embiid was one of like the top, 15 or so bottom movers, and nothing about him really changed. There was no reason he should have dropped that much. It just kind of happened. And kind of, as we said on the show, it was probably just some people wanted to sell. So they sold and they kind of kept going lower. And makes sense that it kind of settled there. How did the rest of the people do, though? Because I think
everyone did well.
Everyone did a good way to show the market.
Yeah. So your Paul George right here was up 27%. Let's see where the Anthony Davis is. Anthony Davis. Yep, this is the Anthony Davis that John Boy went with. So 22%. And then we had Steph Curry from Producer Coop, which I think we also just saw him. Yeah, Steph came in at 33%. So wow. Solid around the board. And this game is a lot more fun when it's who gained the most and not who lost the least. I'll tell you that much. And that brings us to this week. So we're going to go through each of our picks. We're going to start with Producer Coop. Tobias Harris is his pick of the week. And let's see what Producer Coop said. He said, Sixers need some activity down the stretch here. They have 8 games left. if they're going to be a contender, Tobias needs to pick up his shit. Explicitive. Producer Coop, how dare you? I'm like Ron Burgundy. I just read whatever I see. I think, Mike, I did not mean to steal that joke from you, but I know you actually made that same joke, and I just did it without realizing.
At least you said shit and not what I said. So
yeah, that is true.
Dropped a C-bomb at 9:30 in the morning. Oh, what an idiot. Like,
yeah, that's tough. That's a tough one. So, producer Coop, Tobias Harris coming in at a low ask of 119. Justin, we're going to kick it to you next for your pick.
All right. I went with John Collins, right? I think I finalized on that.
You did.
Yeah. Okay. So I think John Collins here is a great value here from, I think it was at 109 when I was initially looking at it. 3 games this week. And so they're sitting kind of in a big, I think they're right outside, like a game ahead of those play-ins. And so Hawks in general are making a strong push here. I think when you have the combination of a Trey and John Collins having the ability to kind of make moves in the playoffs, I will say this is also a bit of a 1 month plus hold, because I do think there's going to be some strong, just, additional attention. You're actually going to see he's still putting up his 20 points a game, but just not really doing it in the national national spotlight. And so this week he's also got a big game against the Suns, 2 other games that I think they can definitely pull off. And I think we're just going to see some big opportunity for him. And okay, this is definitely more of a kind of month one, but I think right now is where, hey, his value is too low at $109. He should be higher in that kind of high 100 amount. And I think as the playoffs roll in and we start kind of progressing towards, this is an opportunity to kind of get in before the rest of the kind of, popularity hits him.
Love it. A lot of chatter in the chat here about Mike going with PJ Washington. That's in here. You know what, guys? I'm going to go with PJ.
Oh, hell yes.
Out of respect for our special guest here. Plus, I've been watching the show. I've been looking at the game logs. PJ's been playing some solid minutes. He's been playing some good basketball here. You know, he's going to get the Mike on the OTM show bump, clearly. That's obviously a very real bump that we are going here. But, I mean, I just had to do it. I think he was up like 15 to 20% range this week. So not a big loser, but wasn't I think he's got some room to roam here. So Mike, your guy, PJ Washington, had to do it.
It started, for like some background, this started as more of a frustration at how people were evaluating like Series 2 4K rookies. And I was like, why are we freaking out over these guys, but we're not freaking out over Series 1 rookies who we've seen play? Like, we know what PJ is going to do. But now it's turned out to, like, I'm sweating his box score. Even if I'm not playing him in DFS, I'm like, oh man, he got 2 fouls early. Like, it's sick.
I'm gonna have to answer to this tomorrow morning now.
Yeah. And I was like, he was like $400 when I was pumping him. So it's been a bunch of L's.
All right, and then Mike, we're gonna kick it over to you. You picked an OTM favorite, my friend.
Yeah, I picked a big one today. So Jokic, what's he at 1375? We like that because I think it was at 14 something earlier today. So this is my background for today's pick, because I saw they got 4 games this week. They have the Lakers tonight, and then they've got the Jazz later on in the week. So like 2 big games. He owns Rudy Gobert. The Lakers are sitting people. I feel like they're going to have a positive week. We're going to be reminded on national TV that Jokic is going to be the MVP. The Nuggets are fun. They're just a fun team to watch. So I'm hoping that gives them the bump. Although looking at all the other moments, seeing them at 164, 109, and 119, and then seeing the 1375, I've got extra work to do, I feel like, to get that up there. Percentage wise.
That's fair. And I will say, like, it's interesting. The Nuggets were almost seeing like the Bill Simmons, Patrick Ewing theory, like with Murray going down, and just KPJ has just absolutely shined, turned into a stud for that team. They've looked fantastic. I mean, the past week or two, not obviously for this game. I mean, I obviously love Joker and stuff, and not for this week or anything, but KPJ, like, his prices have gone up a little. But I still think there's some great value there for the noise that they can make in the playoffs. And if they do, KPJ is going to be putting up mad points. that's someone just as another just someone to keep an eye on, or if you're trying to kind of find some S1, a little more expensive because it's a rookie and stuff. Great pick.
Yeah, I made a move on him this week. Finally, I had been talking about him for like 3 months, and then I think yesterday maybe made a move on Michael Porter Jr. I think he's my favorite player in the league right now. Like I don't know, no one can guard him. He's huge and he shoots. It's so fun. He's so fun to watch.
And yeah, Mike, the chat, they're saying. So for the record, Ryan, Mike did say to me before the show that he wanted to pick MPJ, but he didn't want to overly pump his bags.
Yeah,
so appreciate Mike for that. But your following definitely knows the guys you like.
Because it's the same story every day.
Awesome. Well, hey, I'll tell you what, I've got myself a hustle and show pack, and
let's go.
I kind of want to open it. Like it just feels like the right thing to do.
I like it.
And it's always the best way.
I'm gonna have to sign off.
You can do that.
I'll let you guys open it up. Best of luck on this. I hope you pick up someone who actually has some name brand. Other than that, I think I've got to get back inside, head on over after this to Club Top Shot. I think I'll be joining on that for a little, and I'll see you all in the chat and on Wednesday.
Sounds good. Catch you later.
Mike, I forgot to give you shit. Overzet said you two were on an improv class together, and he made more people laugh than you.
No, that is not a chance. It's not. I mean, it's true we were on a team together. It is. I mean, but come on. You speaks for itself. All right. So I might not have an alter ego that can pull off tank tops in the way that man can. But hey, we can still bring it. All right. We can still bring it.
I love it. All right. I will catch you all later.
Awesome.
Later, chat. Have a great night. And thanks for coming on, Mike. We'll chat again.
Yeah, of course.
See you, Justin. All right, Mike. Let's take this home.
Let's do it.
We don't need Justin to open a pack.
Also, shout out producer Coop, just like seamlessly moving the images around. We're down to 2, and he's just ready for it. I love it.
He's the best in the biz behind there, just grinding away. All righty, hustle and show. So let's hold on. Let's see who do we want of the hustle and show moments.
Is it Rudy?
I think it's probably Rudy, right? Well, let's see.
I mean, maybe Marcus Smart gets a bump after slapping Nurkic in the testicles last night and getting thrown out of the game. I don't know. Does that get a bump?
So price wise, oh wow. So I guess the badges for the rookies are there's your rookie badge frustration as to why these guys are worth more than Rudy Gobert. But oh wait, I realize I'm sharing the Chrome tab. But RJ Hampton and Sadiq Bey are currently the 2 most expensive.
All right, I'm in on Sadiq Bey. I like RJ Hampton.
I don't mind. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna be happy with whatever one of these guys we got. All right, let's do it up, chat.
Here we go. Oh, it's 5. I forgot it was 5 moments too. See, I'm. Oh, this is okay. That's why. This was muted. I didn't mess it up. There we go.
Oh, all right. Music. The chat's gonna yell at me to turn it to the music's loud, but whatever. All right.
No, that's all right. Let it rock.
I guess we can't tell which ones are hustling. We just gotta go with it. Which one, Mike?
This is fire. I think we right in the middle, right? Right smack dab in the middle of the top. I feel like I'm screaming now too. Rudy, right at the top.
Rudy, right off the top. There it is.
This is the famous double block too, right?
Boom.
2 blocks in 1.
Right on Zeller.
Yeah. That's why they're starting PJ small ball 5 now.
There it is. 3,800. Not terrible.
Here we go. We'll take it.
Let's see what kind of base moments we got to go along with it.
Ooh, some magic. There's a
RJ Hampton. At a 1,200.
That's some badges.
12,000. That's a good pull.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure relative to this back, we'll put that.
I like that little celebration right after, too.
3 badges? Okay.
Absolutely.
We'll take that. We'll take that.
Ooh, Celtics.
I don't stop until I break a sweat.
Another rookie.
Another rookie.
I keep tripping, hit him with finesse.
This is a nice pack.
This is nice. Yeah, this is
I'm
a
happy
dub.
with this pack.
This is a dub.
Wet, pull up like I barely hit the net.
Wow.
All right.
I think that's a game winner, too.
A lot of badges.
I keep tripping, hit him with
Love
finesse.
Game winner or buzzer beater, I think.
Every day I wake, I know I'm blessed.
All right, here we go.
Not a great serial now, but I love it.
That's all right. We just take the badges. Kings.
Sweat.
Ooh, Harrison. Oh, this is a
Top
sick
shot
moment.
king himself.
Yeah. This is a sick moment, though.
Sweat.
Game winner, or at least a buzzer beater, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's a game
That's
winner.
legit. Game winner.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's hype.
that is. The challenge channel in the Discord will be losing their mind right now. That's gonna be the challenge, they say.
There it is. Yeah, that's the
Game winner.
The theorists, the tinfoil hats, love that one.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Final one. Solid pack so far.
Here we go. Ooh, Brooklyn. James Harden. What is this?
This is a phenomenal pack.
This is incredible.
Oh, look at that behind the back dish. Love that. That's a pretty.
I just saw Brandon Kaiser's chat. My 3-year-old and 5-year-old are running around the house yelling "wet and sweat." Good times. A plus, Brandon. Yeah, that's a good pack.
That's a great pack. Wow, that's
because that's
one of
got to be the
better
most.
packs that I've-
That's got to be the most expensive hustle and show, right?
Yeah, I think it's gonna. I mean, it's definitely the best player.
Yeah, I would think it is. And then you get a Harden, couple rookies, one being their first moment. Yeah, this is a
Great pack.
yeah, this is a good pull.
Good vibes.
Yeah.
Good vibes. Awesome, man. Well, hey, anything that you want to leave the people with as we close out the show?
Well, I mean,
All your stuff, man.
yeah.
I know a lot of the people in the chat here are already your loyalists, but for the people listening afterwards and all that, let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, definitely. So we're as you said earlier, we rebranded to Team Hold because we started talking about some baseball stuff. But you can find us all on Twitter at Team Hold NFT at Team Hold NFT, and then you can also find us on YouTube just at Team Hold. But we do the morning show Monday through Friday, usually at 9 a.m. Eastern. We do a couple of shows throughout the week, mostly Top Shot focused, but we're doing some baseball stuff. I even dabbled around with the WPT drop last night, which the World Poker Tour won.
Oh yeah, I heard you say that. It was a disaster.
It was a dumpster fire. Yeah, it lasted like 3 seconds and then they shut it down. It was bad. And it probably was fine. It was just midnight my time, and I was furious that I even allowed myself to think that it was a good idea, and then to stay up and it not work. I just lost my mind. But anyways, yeah, we do we talk about a little bit of everything. We have a lot of fun. And we use a lot of your resources. So shout out on the moment for letting us screen share while we're doing it.
Good deal.
But yeah, we have fun.
Well,
Yeah,
hey.
follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and we've got a Discord too. And if you find us on YouTube, you can see all the information to find us.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely check out Mike's stuff. I seriously listen to it every single day. Don't always get to do it live, but like you said, I mean, I related to where you were like the people rely on you for the basketball info. I don't honestly watch a ton of basketball right now, but I enjoy your updates, and I mostly care about basketball through a Top Shot lens. So to me, it's the perfect mix of and especially as we get into playoffs, I'm definitely gonna start to follow basketball more and more. But I feel like watching your shows gives me a good idea of what the heck's going on in the league.
Thanks, man. And I'll say too, if the chat is always really sharp, and because I'm doing the show by myself, I'm relying pretty heavily on the chat. There's a lot of banter and back and forth, usually positive, but it is a lot of fun, and it's because I don't think I'm an expert. I love basketball. I'm very new to this NFT stuff, but I love breaking down basketball, and so to do it with this Top Shot lens has been a lot of fun. So so if you're new to it, just come hang. It's a fun hang. That's what I'd say.
Love it. All right, everyone. Thanks for spending this early evening with us. As Justin said, you can check out, I believe the Club Top Shot guys are going to be live at some point, coming you directly from Miami. Justin may or may not be hopping on with them at some point tonight. And then we will be back on Wednesday, back to our normal 8:30 Eastern time. Justin and I doing more of a strategy breakdown. We'll dive deeper into the challenges as they come up on the expiration on Thursday. We'll have a better feel for the Hustle and Show challenge at that point as well. And who knows? I'm sure we'll get some sort of news over the next 2 days that will flip things on its head, as it always seems to happen in the Top Shot world. So thanks again on behalf of Justin, on behalf of Mike, and of course, on behalf of producer Coop behind the scenes. I am TJ Lasig, and we will see you guys next time.